In the year 1806, magic in England was a thing of the past. It lived only in dusty books and the idle dreams of scholars. No one practiced it. No one believed in it, except one man. That man was Mr. Gilbert Norrell, a scholar, a collector of magical texts, and, above all, a believer. Unlike others before him, Mr. Norrell did not merely study magic. He believed it could return, and he was determined to prove it. For years, Mr. Norrell had been gathering every magical manuscript he could find. He owned more books on English magic than any university in the land. And yet, magic was not taught. It was not practiced. It was feared and forgotten. But Mr. Norrell was not just a collector. He was a practitioner. In secret, he performed spells, small at first, to prove that magic still worked. He restored a burned book with a single word. He summoned shadows to speak. And slowly, he began to believe magic was not dead. It had only been sleeping. Mr. Norrell knew that if magic were to return, the world must believe. So he began to share his work, carefully, cautiously, with those who could help. He would not be the last magician in England. He would be the first of many. And so, the age of English magic began again. With one man, one book, and one secret. Mr. Norrell's reputation began to grow. He was no longer just a collector of magical texts. He was a practitioner. Word spread quietly through London's intellectual circles. Norrell had done something no one else had in centuries. He had made magic work. His first great feat was the restoration of a burned book. A rare and ancient manuscript, thought to be lost forever, was returned to perfect condition with a single word. Scholars were stunned, but Mr. Norrell was careful. He revealed only what he wished the world to know. He followed this with something far stranger. In the quiet of his study, he summoned shadows, not mere reflections, but living shapes that spoke. They whispered secrets from the past and answered questions no living man could know. To Mr. Norrell, it was proof. Magic had never truly left England. It had only been waiting. But Mr. Norrell was not content with secret miracles. He wanted to prove magic's power to the world. And so, he made a bold decision. He would perform one final, undeniable act before an audience of London's most skeptical minds. Mr. Norrell decided it was time to take his magic to the heart of England's power. London was where decisions were made and where magic must return. He packed his most trusted books and set out in a horse-drawn carriage. The journey was long, but his mind was already in the city. When he arrived, London was just as he remembered, foggy, noisy, and full of secrets. But this time, he did not come as a scholar. He came as a magician. Norrell took residence in a quiet but respected part of the city. He wanted to be close to Parliament, to the courts, and to the men who shaped the nation. He began to make quiet inquiries, who held power, who made decisions, and who might believe in magic. He needed allies, not just admirers. His first meeting was with a government official, a man known for his skepticism. But Norrell had a plan. He would show, not tell. In a candlelit room, he performed a simple but undeniable act. He made a statue speak, and the official could not deny what he saw. Word spread quickly through the halls of power. A magician had returned to England, and he had something to prove. In the bustling city of London, Jonathan Strange lived an ordinary life, or so it seemed. He was a man of sharp mind and restless spirit, always searching for something more. One evening, he heard whispers of a man who could do the impossible, bring magic back to England. Strange, always drawn to the unknown, decided to find out the truth for himself. He began reading everything he could find about magic, history, and the old legends of England. The more he read, the more he believed magic wasn't just stories. It was real. Strange tracked down Mr. Norrell, not as a student, but as a challenger. He had questions, and he wasn't afraid to ask them. Norrell, at first, was reluctant to teach him. Strange was too bold, too curious. But Strange had something rare, a natural gift for magic. One day, without training or books, Strange did something unexpected. He performed a spell, not from memory, but from instinct. Norrell was stunned. No one had done that in centuries. For the first time, he saw not a student, but a rival. And so, Jonathan Strange became the second magician of England. Not just a learner of magic, but a maker of it. With magic now a part of England once more, the government turned to Mr. Norrell and Strange for help. The war with Napoleon was raging, and magic might be the key to victory. Strange was sent to Spain, where British forces were locked in a brutal struggle. He was not a soldier, but he would fight in a way no one had before. On the battlefield, Strange used magic to turn the tide, revealing hidden paths and misleading the enemy. His spells were subtle, but their impact was immense. He summoned illusions that confused French troops, making them believe they were surrounded. With every victory, his reputation grew, not just as a man, but as a force of nature. Strange's reports returned to London, filled with observations and theories. He was not just fighting, he was learning how magic truly worked in the real world. His letters to Norrell became lessons, not just about magic, but about power and responsibility. Magic was no longer just theory, it was war. Yet, with every success, Strange felt the weight of what he was doing. Was he helping England, or simply becoming a weapon? As Strange's fame spread, so did the questions about magic, about war, and about the cost of power. And in London, Mr. Norrell began to wonder, was he still the only magician in England? While Strange fought battles in Spain, something older and darker stirred in England. A presence from the world of fairies began to make itself known. The gentleman, a fairy king in disguise, watched from the shadows. He had waited centuries for magic to return to England. He moved like a ghost through London, whispering to those who would listen and to those who wouldn't. He spoke of ancient pacts, broken promises, and a kingdom that once was his. The gentleman was not evil, not in the way men understand evil, but he was powerful, and he had plans for Strange and Norrell. He began to weave his influence into the lives of those around him. Some saw him as a friend, others as a nightmare waiting to begin. He visited dreams and whispered secrets no living man should know. He was not cruel, but he did not understand human pain. His presence grew stronger with every spell cast by Norrell and Strange. Magic had returned, and so had he, and in the dark corners of England, the old stories began to stir. The gentleman had returned, and he was not alone. Long before Norrell or Strange, there was a king unlike any other, the Raven King. He ruled a land where magic was not just practiced, it was law. He was not born a king, he was made one by magic and by the will of his people. His name was lost to time, but his power was not. The Raven King taught his followers the ancient magic of the North, wild, untamed, and powerful. He shaped England with spells that still echoed through time. But the world changed. Men forgot the old ways, and the Raven King vanished. Some said he died. Others believed he was taken by his own magic. His kingdom faded into legend, and the magic he ruled with was buried in books and footnotes. But it was never truly gone, only waiting. Strange became obsessed with the Raven King, reading every text, chasing every clue. He believed the past held the key to the future of magic. Norrell feared the Raven King's legacy. It was not the magic of scholars, but of power and loss. And yet he could not stop Strange from chasing it. The gentleman watched from the shadows, smiling, always smiling. For the return of the Raven King's magic meant something else had returned too. With Strange away in Spain, Mr. Norrell found himself alone with his thoughts and his fears. He had brought magic back to England, but now he was losing control of it. Strange's growing power and independence unsettled Norrell. He had trained a rival, not a pupil. And in London, whispers of the supernatural grew louder. A noblewoman, Lady Pole, was caught between life and death, trapped by a spell gone wrong. Norrell had tried to save her, but in doing so, he had bound her to something far older. The gentleman appeared to Norrell not as a threat, but as a friend. He offered a deal. He would return Lady Pole to life if Norrell would give him something in return. Norrell agreed, though he did not fully understand what he had promised. He thought he had made a bargain with a fairy. He had made one with fate. Lady Pole awoke, but she was no longer just a woman of this world. She spoke of dreams, of shadows, of a kingdom beyond England. The gentleman came often to visit her, speaking in riddles and ancient tongues. Norrell realized too late he had not saved Lady Pole. He had doomed her. And now, the gentleman had a claim on England and on Norrell himself. Magic had returned, and so had the price it demanded. If you enjoyed this cinematic journey through Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss next part. This is not just reading. This is seeing the story. Every like, comment, and share helps me keep creating these visual book experiences. So thank you for being part of Brainstorm. See you in the next chapter.